What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's good, people? What is up? What is they went from the fourth level of hell and sent us down to the seventh level of hell. Why? Because then you got Kwanzaa pulling out her titties. The whore pulled out her titties. And these whore bags over here started feeling and fondling on her tits. What?
I don't have it to do with you. Girl, you can go over there, rant and rave. Girl, you can shake all your rainbow bright hair all you want, dear one. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I don't have nothing to do with you, and I'm done. Baby, you can scream my name from the rooftops from now till Jesus come back. I'm done after this.
Introduced to Tick's Meat. Do you see what I see? Did y'all really let hello casting wardrobe? Y'all let him roll up out of wardrobe with these fans on, giving us all of this, thinking we were not gonna see it. We have been waiting with bated breath and anticipating all season long for the slightest glimpse, and y'all just put it out there this episode in all of its magnificent glory.
Listen, that young man said, "Baby, you ate on this first date. You giving up the cooch on the first date, okay? Well, you gonna run me my coins? Run me my cooch or run me my coins? Run me my cooch or run me my coins? Run me my cooch or run me my coins." That's how I do theme song. That is the new song. Listen, somebody need to put a beat to that. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. That's what y'all got going on.
Called out Sandcastle. Sand, bitch. Ow. Oh my God, it was so funny, girl. Woo, baby, listen, let me tell you something. This shit started to turn into the precursor for some gay porn. That's what I thought it was. Because Big T is getting all, the voice starting to go deeper and get a little more wet and moist and sentimental and all this shit. And it was real gay at this point. Like, I thought the bitches was gonna stop. I thought Lil Bird was gonna turn Big T around and do him like he did Uncle Cliff and do the grease it up with City Lou and ran right in there. It's not a coincidence that Big T started off the conversation by trying to find out if Lil Bird was fucking Mercedes, which he found out he's not. It's also not a coincidence that he would start talking about prison. Why? Because the bitches was probably fucking in prison. Uncle Cliff, you better go get your man. Big T got plans for that. What he had on looked like something Big Bird vomited up or something like that. Like, I did not like it. That Big Bird couture he was going for, it did not work. Like the pastor of a gay mega church on Easter Sunday. Okay, it was way too much sequins. He had on way too much makeup. Baby, his face looked like Yana Van Zant's neckline. Okay, just way too much makeup clumped in everywhere on his face. Get it together, sweetheart. And you're a big girl, so that gives you a whole lot of canvas. So that was a whole lot of makeup, honey. And Rico looked like he was auditioning to be one of the three kings, or he was auditioning to be the main character on Jesus Christ Superstar. Girl, Wayne, did you have on a blue thong or a blue G-string or something? If you did, I want to see it. Hit me up in my DMs, and I do want to see if you have a blue thong or a blue, jock strap or something like that. I'd love to see it too. Anyway, but I liked it with the turtleneck. Now, Troy.
Sorry. I'm just talking. Sorry. Well, hey, my love, my dear, my doll.
Hey, boo. Hold on. Let me share this on my page. I'm listening.
Miss Five Figure over there. What is going on?
Hold on. Let me share this out, honey.
Yeah, I feel like this is a threat level red.
I wanted to say we should stream this on the teacher project at the same time, but that was after I got off the phone with you. But I was gonna I'll still do a little quick story over there though. Mm-hmm.
After this, maybe we could do a quick pre-recorded over there.
Yeah, that'll work.
Over there after this. So what is?
We are live.
Listen, y'all. I feel like this is a threat level red situation.
Red alert, red alert, red alert.
This is absolutely a red alert situation. Y'all know we like to be above the curve. Shout out to Cams, who also sent me this story as well.
Hey, Cams, Patty Duke. What's up, Tracy? Hey, Tim.
I was reading, it's so funny because I was reading an article on it about an hour ago, and I was saying, hey, maybe I should probably do that. And then when I saw the video, Cam sent me an actual TikTok video on it, and so it became a moment of exigence. There's our word of the day, exigence. for me and stuff like that. You know what I was looking up while we were just talking? I was trying to see if I could get a list of all of the officially state funded HBCUs. I'm probably not going to be able to get that list while I'm here. But anyway, so y'all, why are we here? Why are we here? I'm glad you asked. Really, B and I are here because there's an issue. We have an issue that has come to the our attention, and we felt pressed to talk about it. So, you saw the title. The title talks about, HBCUs being in danger. And, when we see these things happening and we notice what's going on, we know that they become blueprints for other states to follow. In the great state of Tennessee, governed by, what's the governor name? I know his last name is Lee. Can't remember his first name. However, we have Tennessee State University. And Tennessee State University is an HBCU, but it is a state funded HBCU. Now, here's the deal. Let me give you the background. And then after I give you the background, I'll tell you what they're doing. They have launched an investigation into what's going on at Tennessee State University. The catalyst for it was the fact that housing issues that Tennessee State is having. Now, we should know that HBCUs around the country, and not just HBCUs, all schools around the country, be they HBCUs or PWIs, are having housing crises and issues. However, many HBCUs are having housing issues for a good reason. Since the summer of 2020, post Black Lives Matter movement, exploding all over the country, and different things happening, there has been an explosion in enrollment at HBCUs.
True
And
that.
so that created housing issue concerns because these schools just frankly weren't prepared to receive all of these students, not to mention they aren't being funded as they should be by state and federal government entities that should be doing right by them. All right. So Tennessee decided that they were going to do this investigation into what's going on at HBCU. I told you the catalyst behind that was the housing situation. So now they're going through, and these people, they had an ad hoc committee that was formed. The ad hoc committee is looking into the president and the board of trustees and the entire administration down to Tennessee State to see, what their recommendation is. They can recommend that it be turned over to the state legislature for the state legislature to take control of the HBCU if they deem that the administration isn't doing what they're supposed to do, or is it up to their standards. They change. They always move the goalposts when it's our black asses. So if the worry that people have is, this is the great state of Tennessee. If the state legislature, which is very white, which is very discriminatory when it comes to, I mean, we've talked about Tennessee several times. I just did a story about that Tennessee, that congressman in the great state of, was that Tennessee or was that Kentucky? Well, I think it was Tennessee, where they didn't want him to wear the dashiki, and they told him he needed to find a new job if he continues to wear the dashiki. These are the things that's going on down to the great state of Tennessee. Me and Really B did a story about a year and a half ago about some private schools and charter schools, about 150, I think it was charter schools, I think it was Really B, that was doing this indoctrination of white principles and powers down there to the great state of Tennessee. So the fear is that by the state taking over, it will go into the hands of the state legislature. The state legislature can then clean house, put all of the people that they want. Basically, they can take over the university and do with it what they want, to include putting all white people in it and changing the nature of what it is being a historically black university. That is the context by which we are here, because the things that happen with this case can have, effects to other HBCUs around the country. Really, be I'll let you chime in.
I mean, I think this is always, when I was at, my HBCU, which is a privately run HBCU, which of course that had its own set of issues with funding, but that always is the risk that you run when you are HBCU functioning as a state institution, because yes, you're HBCU, but you are also still a state school, and you are kind of at the whim of whatever the policy and procedure is at that in that state. I know, again, I was at Bennett, which is in Greensboro, North Carolina, and at the time that I was there, North Carolina A&T had one of the top ranked engineering programs in the country, not just amongst HBCUs, but in the country. And at that time, there was whispers, because it was never anything officially, but it were whispers that there were talks about the state of North Carolina wanting to take over A&T just for the engineering program. And Cam's just said something about that in the chat. HBCUs being punished for success, and that's kind of what it is. So like you said, enrollment has exploded, but unfortunately, between the time of A Different World being at its peak and enrollment going up, and then Black Lives Matter, there was actually a lull in HBCU enrollment, and a lot of HBCUs, mine included, Bennett a few years ago was on the verge of closing and losing accreditation. Enrollment dropped, and as a result of enrollment dropping, the facilities fell to the wayside, faculty fell to the wayside, because unfortunately, when you have to cut, you trim the fat. And it may not seem like fat to say painting and plastering, but that's the fat. So when you close dorms, I know at Bennett, I think 2 dorms have closed, maybe even more at this point. So when you close dorms, and now all of a sudden you got to open dorms back up, or you have to look for more housing because the dorms are full that you already had, it does cause a crisis, So I just saw this literally a few minutes ago, and I'm trying to read up and everything, but it's unfortunately, it's a sad thing, and I agree with Cam just said. You're just being punished for being success, because now the states want control of the school. They only want the good part.
It's such a, I don't even want to say double-edged sword. There's so many edges to this weapon, I guess we will say, because a governor like Governor Death Sentence, who wants to basically do away with anything that deals with Black people, and now you have this attack across the country on teaching Black history, on things that are authentically Black. HBCUs may be the only places where you will get authentically true and real information. However, if you pit that with these people not wanting these things to be done, I mean, because think about it, in a state like Florida, or a state like Texas, or a state like Tennessee, where they're now outlawing Black history and subjects surrounding Black people to be taught, that could be removed from an HBCU if it's state owned, if it's a state school. You couple that with the fact that a lot of students don't have the option, I should say, fiscally, of a lot of the private ones, because the private schools their tuitions may exponentially dwarf the state institution, because they don't have that extra state funding that those private institutions don't. So now you can run into the issue of the real options being only the private institutions, which would become much more of a back end issue with student loans, with money that would be incurred because of that. It's not like the government is going to do anything to give more money to these private schools. So I'm afraid for what this means. Think of some of these schools where they have had celebrated alumni, Southern University, Alabama State, um, North Carolina A&T, FAMU, Tennessee State. You know, the list goes. I don't want to start Jackson State. It's so many state funded schools that are HBCUs that if you start to do away with and take away the identities of these schools, that's a huge. Now, let's be clear. I could see a fight coming because one thing you know about alumnus of HBCUs, they don't mind fighting. They don't mind fighting at all. I want to see what Oprah has to say about this because Oprah is a graduate of Tennessee State University.
I'm going to say this. I agree. We will fight. But here's my issue. And I've said this on my platform, and I will continue to say it. Why aren't we proactive? We'll show up for the fight, and we'll show up for homecoming. But that's it. And I'm not talking specifically to TSU. I'm just saying in general, if our alumni, myself included, because I've definitely done a lot since graduating from Bennett, but have I done as much as I could? Probably not. But I've definitely done a lot. I'm active with the alumni. I go back regularly. I definitely pay my dues and I donate when I can. Maybe not a lot, but I always send them a check. But we have to be proactive the same way Duke alum are proactive, the same way North Carolina Chapel Hill are proactive, Maryland University. Like, we have to be proactive in giving the money and donating to the school, showing up for more than homecoming. You know what I'm saying? We've got to be more proactive because then they don't run, at least the financial side. Now, I mean, of course, if somebody, but at least the financial side. But I agree with you, though, El Teddy. We will show up for a fight now because when Bennett was in trouble, baby, we fought. And we got celebrity endorsements. We got ourselves in the paper. We ended up getting some corporate sponsors that donated money. Oh, we fought. And we fought hard as a small alumni, number as compared to a TSU. So I think that they need to get the word out. And I think they need to be very, very, very diligent in spreading the word and reaching out to their more affluent alum, like you said, the Oprahs of the world. Let's get it.
And I think that it can't just be Tennessee State. This becomes an existential threat to all state-funded HBCUs. It becomes the blueprint. Please be clear. If it happens there and they get away with it, that will signal all of these other states. I mean, there's a reason. There is a clear. People always ask, well, why are there so many HBCUs in all of these red states? Because that's where the need was. That's exactly where there was the need. They weren't teaching Black people how to read and write. So institutions had to be formed that where they could go and they didn't have to be, arrested and or perhaps beaten and harmed for trying to learn to read and write.
Because remember, you guys, we are our political system has pretty much flipped. So after Reconstruction in the House, those were your Democrats. Those were the radical, the Democrats, and starting with Franklin Delano Roosevelt and extending into John F. Kennedy, you started seeing it flip from Republican to Democrat. The roles flipped. With Franklin Delano Roosevelt being a Democrat and bringing in a lot of, for lack of a better word, socialist ideals through the New Deal, and then stretching into John F. Kennedy being a Democrat, being seen as, because I don't want to go deeper than that, but being seen as very friendly to the plight of Black people, you started seeing a lot of the ideology flip, and you started seeing more Blacks go from being Republican to Democrat and vice versa. So like El Teddy said, right now we'll look at a map and we'll see these red states. But remember, after Reconstruction, those red states were blue states, but the ideology was the same. Because I'm saying all of that because I don't want somebody to come and be like, those were Democrats. Yeah, they were Democrats, but the Democrats were the racists. They were the Klansmen. They were, and I don't mean Republicans were perfect, but I'm just saying the roles have flipped to where we are today. That's all.
Right. And so what we end up having and dealing with is HBCUs sitting in states where people don't like them. And while for a long time that was okay, when the circle is coming back full circle, where now these areas are showing their full color. They're showing their true and full colors. They want no parts of our black asses. None. No parts at all. And if that means we don't want no parts of your African American Studies course, you ain't gonna get it. If that means every book that has something about black people we're taking out of the libraries, that is happening. That's real. That is really happening. If that means that, you think you have a school that is by black people and for black people, yeah, we're gonna take that from you as well. That's odd. And please be clear, even the private institutions should not scoff at what's happening to the state, because there's still entities around that will do what they can to even take the private ones. You have all of the accreditation institutions that assign accreditation to colleges and university. That for one I can think of in off the top of my head is SACS. SACS, SACS, who gives accreditation to all of the schools in the South, and most of the HBCUs, many of the HBCUs, I would say a good, probably more than half, are a part of SACS, because the South.
SACS is the body that we ran into trouble with Bennett when we lost our accreditation, and we were able to appeal it in whole situation with that, but what they were saying to us was very much comparing us to white school as far as our financial issues. And we were like, wait, you're comparing Bennett to Sarah. It was Sarah Lawrence at the time, I think. No, it wasn't Sarah Lawrence. Anyway, it wasn't a fair comparison. And we were like, you're comparing us to a school with double the enrollment that had, but yet you're putting us on the same pedestal. And again, the way they came after Bennett is just as easily that they could come after a HBCU, because once you lose your accreditation, I mean, ask Morris Brown what happens when you lose accreditation. Now they literally just got it back, thank God, but it was probably 15 years, and now they have to build.
I know Clark Atlanta went through the same thing as well. There a lot of schools lose accreditation, so we're at. People may say, El Teddy will really y'all raise the alarm. No, this is time to raise the alarm, because there has to now be this concerted effort to say no more. They're going to keep chipping away at everything that makes us who we are. I said this about a year ago. Black people need to look at the blueprint of our indigenous and Native American brothers and sisters, because this country erased everything about who they are, everything about their culture, and they're just basically erased, and they're going to do the same thing to us if we don't stand up and say enough is enough. And that's coming from all entities. That's coming from our people in the arts, be it music and other arts. That comes from those in sports. That comes from those in politics, in tech. If we really need to see and understand that this is really an existential threat on who we are. It's not just HBCUs. There's a concerted effort to say black people sit down, go away, go back in your corners, and don't come out. That's basically what they're saying to us. And I have so many people who we all, have people in our families and so forth that have graduated from these schools, who needed these schools. Hey, Abby, and it's
Hey,
a
boo.
scary time. It's a very scary time. I'm gonna go and look at some of my groups that have all of these graduates from HBCUs in it and see what the talk is, what the talk is of the time. Because if the talk is, oh, business as usual, and nobody is saying anything, this will happen under the cloak of darkness. And when this
Yep.
happens under the cloak of
Yeah.
darkness, the other governors will say, oh, please believe Sarah Huckabee Sanders is looking at this over in Arkansas. Please believe Greg Abbott is looking at this over in Texas. Please believe Ron DeSantis is looking at this over in Florida. All of these states that has dozens of HBCUs in. I think Alabama probably has the
And
longest
don't
list.
forget our new governor here in Virginia. Well, I'm not in Virginia, but the guy that ran off
Youngkin.
of
Oh yeah.
Young, I couldn't get his name. Youngkin, yep,
Hmm.
Virginia.
Yeah. So we're talking, schools around the country. They are, I mean, they're in danger, because
Hmm.
once they do away with the state HBCUs, then they're going to try to squeeze the private HBCUs, because now there's nowhere for the states. Not all of those displaced from the state schools have to go somewhere. Now they're going to squeeze the private ones and do all of these things. They take them through all of the bureaucracy and red tape and all of the things that, oh, Sachs will come back. Oh, we have a impromptu audit. We need to see all of the books.
Hmm.
Sachs is good for that kind of stuff. And then they'll say, yeah, your school is on probation for the next 18 months. We'll be in here every 2 weeks for the next 18 months.
Yep, that's what they got. That's what they would with Bennett. It was financial. It was the financial impropriety.
Hmm. And I'm not
Yep.
saying sometimes we don't shoot ourselves in the foot and do things wrong. We need to
Right.
and I'm not saying that the white institutions also are not doing anything wrong, because they absolutely the hell are. However, they coming after us. Then we know what this is about. I don't know, really, B. This is scary. We've covered a lot of scary topics, really, B. We've covered a lot of scary topics. This is
Yep.
up there. This is up there with one of those, oh wow, scary topics. Because if they go in there and say, Dr. Glenda Glover, thank you for your services, they'll no longer be needed, and clean house with that whole administration, white people, that's some money. That's some money for the state. What they gonna do? They take all our black stuff and do what? Take it and make it their own.
Yep.
Next thing you know, 5 years from now, you go across the campus of Tennessee State University, and it's looking like the campus of University of Tennessee.
Okay.
You got the Sigma Nu house, you got the Tri Delta house, Tri Sig house. You know what I'm saying? Sigma Phi
Lambda.
Epsilon house. You know what I'm saying? That's what you gonna start seeing. I'm just saying. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you that's a land and property that that's state would love to just have. Come on now. Come
Facts.
on now.
Facts on facts on facts.
Oh man. Something is in my eye. Really be something's in my eye.
Mm.
But yeah, I saw that and it said, oh, I need to get really be on the live and talk about this with her.
Yes, he
Cause she
did. He
might.
called me up. Said, "Girl, what you doing?"
I did say, girl, what is you doing? Did you see this? We gotta talk about it. We gotta
And I
talk
had just
about it.
started. I had literally just seen it on your Instagram.
I said we got to talk about it because it is serious. It's serial. It is serial. I'm definitely going to put this on my. I want to put it on. I'm definitely
In the
gonna put it on
words of
my
the
Facebook.
AKAs, in the words of the AKAs, it's a serious matter.
It's a serious matter. It's a serious matter.
Hmm.
I mean, what next? They've come after really be. They've come after our history, our books. They're coming after our institution. What's next? I mean, what's next? Where do they? Where do we draw the line? Where does it end? Where does it end?
It doesn't if we don't do it. Like I said, like you said, we need to get out here. I'm gonna get into some of my Bennett groups, and I'm gonna say, hey, do we see what's going on at TSU? Do you know anybody that went to TSU? You need to make sure they know, and they find out what we need to do, because when Bennett needed help, a lot of HBCUs can't help us. Even if they wasn't financial, they spread the word, they put the information out, and they supported us. So, like, what do you need from us as a community? What do you need from us as a group, as a family, as so I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm about to drop this what you just posted. I'm about to drop this in my Bennett groups and my alumni, all my different little Facebook groups and stuff like that, and say, hey, y'all, what's going on here? You know anybody that went to TSU? What do we need to do? How do we motivate? How do we mobilize on this? Because this is serious. Like you said, this is an alarm
bulletin. This is an all hands, all points bulletin.
All hands on deck. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All hands on deck. It's an all hands on deck. These people, when they said "Make America Great Again," they absolutely mean they are taking their country back.
Oh yeah.
Whether or not we want them to. Whether or not we want them to. People thought I was being hyperbolic when I said if they could, they will put us back in chains. They mean that. Get the memo, people. Get the memo. Get the memo. Oh, really be my fat self just got hungry just that instantly. Oh.
Not just that hungry. I mean, just that fast. Child. Well, we said we weren't going to be here that long, child.
And we need to do our pre-recording for a teacher project, don't we? You want to do that now or later?
Do you want to just edit this and upload it onto the teacher project, or do you want to do another video?
I'd rather do another video. I hate editing. I hate it. I hate it.
No problem. Listen, I can't edit, so
I can't edit. I just hate it. It's so time consuming. Oh, you will know that I did start the intro. I just don't know how long we want it to be. I don't know if we want it to be like a few minutes so that we can let people come in, or if you want it to be a quick 15-second intro. I don't know. 15, 30-second intro. I don't know. We'll talk about it.
We can talk about that, because I think I want it to be, a few minutes, so give people time to come in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now our crowds are small, but I'm speaking it into existence. That Okay.
Thank you.
Speaking it into existence, baby.
I do hate editing, Cam. You don't even understand. You do not understand. Why are you picking at me? But yeah, we came through real quick. I wanted to get this out in front of you so y'all can see and know what's happening. I did not want y'all to be ignorant of what's going on. Share it to your friends. I'm not saying I don't edit well. What I'm saying is I just don't like doing it. I can edit quite well. I just don't like doing it. So time consuming. Anyway, we gonna get up out of here, y'all. I didn't mean to take up a whole lot of y'all Sunday. I just wanted to come real fast with Really B. I know she got to prepare for her live later. So, anything else for the people Really B before I do my closing?
Love y'all.
Y'all know I always say I love y'all. I love all y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, person, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. They are much obliged. They're much appreciated. Much obliged. They're much appreciated. Y'all see how she do me? Y'all see this, right? Now, if I went on her platform and did that, she would throw me off.
That's not true. El Taddy, listen. You almost made it through 3 whole hours last night. You almost made it 3 whole hours. I think you wanted to get kicked off.
I did not.
You know what? I haven't said anything. You said I haven't said anything egregious enough for her to kick me off. What can I do to make her kick me off? That is what you said. You know that there are 3 things that can get you kicked off my platform.
See what I got to deal with, y'all. I don't even know what the
Okay.
3 things are. She said that there's 3 things. I don't even know what the 3 things are.
Well, one is talking about my age. Actually, that's not true. I don't put you off for talking about age, do I? Talking about the grand dame, talking about Whoopi. Those are 2 things that's gonna get you put off. No, Tracy, we're just gonna do a pre-record and upload it. We're not gonna go to the other channel. We're just gonna do a pre-record.
Y'all see what I'm dealing with?
Cam's members can watch it. It's on. Speaking of editing, I have to edit the last 20 minutes of that video out, and then I'll repost it publicly for everybody. But
Why?
It's in members now.
Oh, because you went to members only.
That last part with the stuff, that happened down to the stuff on the last 20 minutes of the video.
I have no idea.
Don't say it. I'll tell you offline. Don't say it.
Okay. Okay, because I don't even know what you talking about. Oh man, Tracy, don't do me, as I'll be forced to do you harder.
It was a hoot dog. I know we was cracking up. That's all I can say.
Anyway,
time last night.
yeah, we did. Y'all, we about to get up off here. That's all I got for y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. We out of here. We out.
We out.